Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&Chew guy without suit or tie this evening, and this is an experiment. So, before we get to the experiment though, I do want to thank a few people. I am doing it again at the beginning of this video just in case I am unable to do it at the end. So, bunch of notifications over the last few days, and the reason I have not been calling them out is the short play reviews I've been doing. The What Is It series, I am not doing any shout outs during those to keep the times down. So, longer videos like this though, I will. So, if you don't hear your name called out during those shorter videos, that's why. As soon as a over 7-minute video comes up, you'll most likely be called out if I have notification from you. So, Blake Skiles, Bryce Sneed, Joseph Cunna, and M.J. Smith. Got notifications for all of you gentlemen. I do thank you. Greatly appreciated. A couple in the comment sections, which one said he subscribed, so that would be W. Jack. Hello and thank you. And Dental Prove. I'm guessing you're a subscriber, so hello and thank you. If any of you gentlemen know anyone that would be interested in the content of this channel, please drop my name. So, this is the Snus tooling of Railroad Mills. This is Railroad Mills. This is the same can that I have used in other experiments, and that's because the can's probably going to be around for quite a while, since I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I did actually do a practice run review of it nasally, and that video will never ever see the light of day because things did not go well. It's akin to grinding up steel wool and snorting it up your nose. It's yeah. Anyway, so the snus tool in question is the Prillis Master. It is a cheaper snus tool. Snus tools are used for making Prilla, which are the little formed cubes that you do with loose snus. Not all snus is pouched, and originally it was all loose. The first pouch snus came out in the early 70s. I want to say 73, but I'm not quite sure about that. So you can do it a couple ways with snus. You can either form one in your hand, which is a bit messy, or you use a tool like this. Now, the nice ones are X tools, and they are of a size that makes more sense to me. However, they are now upwards $30, $35, some of them even higher, and for the sake of experiments like this, I just wasn't putting out that much money. So this is a Prillis Master. It's about $5. It is all plastic. You are seeing me hold it from a broken pencil. The reason why I put a broken pencil in there is because, number one, the pencil is what fit perfectly. But if you can see that, it has a chamber up top that you would push down on the loose snus in the can. This one is a pretty good sized chamber, which is why the X tool makes more sense to me. I don't know anybody that's making Prillis this big with snus, or why you would. But this size is not going to be discreet in the upper lip. Let me put it that way. So it's got this button on the side, and you push it up, and it will literally inject it into your upper lip. The problem with this product is it is cheap. It is all plastic, and when you put pressure on that button, it jams up the action. Now, with nothing in the chamber, it is actually moving. Not the case once you get some tobacco in the chamber. So I added this as a fail-safe to basically ram it up if this part jams. So I won't be doing this with Snus though. I will be doing this with dry snuff, American sweet scotch dry snuff, which there is the running, I don't want to call it an argument, but discussion as to how this is actually used. So with sizes like this, and this is a small one, this is over an ounce. It's 1.15 ounces. That's a lot. That is a lot of nasal snuff. So the word around is that down south, people, always is mentioned elderly women, dip this stuff. The thing is, you can't pinch this stuff. So it's always a question of how they're doing that. Now, you can dump it into the cap. And the cap gives play, so you could sort of dump it like that. But even that is not ideal. This stuff is so fine, so powder-like. You need something a little more exact. Thus, I thought, hey, I'll pick up one of these Pearls Masters and we'll try that. Because I've already tried to pouch this stuff, which is one of the previous videos of this playlist, experiments, and this stuff basically, when water is added to it in pouch form, turns into tiny bricks. So that didn't work quite well either. So I'm going to take this off. We're going to plunge this into the product. All right. And then I'm going to take it out. I'm going to put it in my bottom lip. And I have a mud jug on hand here if needed. The thing is, this stuff is so powdery, I don't see anything being able to get in between the grains saliva-wise. So I don't know if I'm really going to need to spit, but we're going to find out anyway. Unfortunately for myself, there has been no practice run with this. I don't know why. I've had this thing for 2 months. I've had this probably for 3, but for whatever reason, I didn't see fit to try this out beforehand. Yeah, anyway, so I'm going to press it down as hard as I can, and that is pretty darn hard. Make sure I have this pencil all the way up, and then technically, okay. Now with this, I am actually going to pull my lip down. Not because I have to, but to show you what I'm attempting to do, or what I would like the outcome to be. I'm going to. So normally I wouldn't, and with this, really you don't have to, but still went over my teeth. I don't know how they do this. So the problem is the product is dry. Now, the part that you're seeing out there, the top, is actually smaller than the chamber inside. So there's a good bit of it now, but because of the dryness of the product, if you don't get it perfectly formed, trying to move it with your tongue isn't going to work because your tongue is wet and then you're touching it to dry powder. Come to your own conclusions with that as to what happens, but now it's migrating all over my mouth. The taste is all right, but it's not a pleasant texture. It's not in a form that you want. You can feel the dryness of it and that it's sticking to anything it comes in contact with. So now you're trying to like keep it in place but not really touch it too much with your tongue because then you'll have it all over your tongue. Somewhat surprisingly though, I'm noticing that this is actually making me salivate. The spit is going to be somewhat brown. I mean, really, if you were close enough up, you'd realize that it's actually product going out. Once it wettens and moistens up, it does stay fairly in place, but I just don't know why anyone would do this. With a full market of dipping tobacco products, I don't know why you would stick with this. Even though maybe back in the day, 50, 60 years ago, this is what you started with. I don't see why you would continue. I had thought that maybe it didn't have your mouth water. There was contact nicotine, like where the product was actually sitting, but it didn't make your mouth water, and thus there was very little spitting needed, which would play into my idea of what an older woman would want, not to be seen spitting all over the place. Because I have talked to people that say their grandmothers used this stuff in this fashion and they never knew it until much later on in life when their parents told them. But my mouth is watering right now. The product is right there. There is no putting this around the side, let me put it that way. The flavor is, it's sort of hard to describe. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's just sort of, it's tolerable and it's not bitter. There's not a bitterness to it, but it's not necessarily, oh, this is sweet either. There's something in your mouth up front that feels sticky. And that's basically it. So the Pearless Maker does work. It does do the job. That is actually, although it did start to migrate when it first got in, that is a lot more direct than dumping it out of the cap. Mind you, unless you're one of the 24 people in the country that do this on a daily basis, I don't know if it would be cost effective to go out and buy one of these. Nor do I think dipping this, unless there's some, in the South, there's some cost effect where this is cheaper, but nicotine, I'm really not noticing anything. I mean, I don't feel like doing anything else, so I'm guessing it's there, but there's nothing like, whoa, oh my, it's not like with that creamy snuff when I brush my teeth with it. There's no, my hands aren't going numb or anything like that. It works. I mean, it probably would have worked better actually if I had not pulled my lip down if I had just jammed it, but I was trying to show exactly what was happening. It would have probably stayed more formed if I had just into the lip. Didn't make a mess. So, I mean, I don't have anything on my desk. Whatever did migrate when it first went in has been expelled, like the first or second spit. So, it's one of those things like, yeah, okay, great, this works, but I can't see why anybody would go out of their way to do things this way. You know what I mean? If I buy a can of Stoker's, where somebody was selling me on the idea of my Stoker Straight, and they were like, yeah, so you just buy these little cans and they're so much cheaper than cigarettes. Oh, and you need a tool. It's just like, what? Wait, what? Back that up. So, mind you, I do not think this is the best American dry snuff product. Originally, from its original company, it might have been of some quality, but this is now a Swisher product. Now, due to the slow up in dry snuff reviews, I am thinking of doing one, and it is the peach that Berg's from Berg's Dip Reviews sent me down, and it is an American Snuff Company product, so I think I may give that a go nasally in 2 days from now. But as far as this goes, yeah, it worked as I hoped it would, but I'm not quite sure if that's any headway for any of us. I mean, okay, it worked, great. Moving on. Where's that can of Stoker's at? Anyway, guys, I do hope you all are well. I will be back 2 days from now, 48 hours from now, with another video. I thank you for the new subscribers. If anybody in general knows anyone that would be interested in content here, if you give them my name or let them know where to find me. Dirty Pat Walsh, I told you I wasn't growing a beard.